اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله، يا إمام الرحمة، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين، يا علي بن أبي طالب، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد، يا قرة عين الرسول، يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيهة عند الله اشفعي لنا عند الله. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن الحسين، يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها الباكر يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا عبد الله يا جعفر بن محمد أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا موسى بن جعفر أيها القادم يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد أيها الهادي النكي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا وسي الحسن والخلف الحجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. Ask for your hajat. يا سادتي وموالي، إني توجهت بكم أئمتي وأدتي ليوم فقري وحاجتي إلى الله، وتوسلت بكم إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله، فاشفعوا لي عند الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي عند الله، فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله، وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله، فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا سادتي يا أولياء الله، صلى الله عليهم أجمعين، ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين، آمين رب العالمين. اللهم سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
جو حضرات یہاں تشریف فرما ہیں اور وہ فرش پہ تشریف رکھ سکتے ہیں، ان سے میری درخواست ہے کہ تھوڑا سا آگے آئیے اور میرے نزدیک آئیے تاکہ مجھے بھی حوصلہ رہے تھوڑا سا پڑھتے ہوئے میرے کو. خواتین و حضرات، آج ہم اپنے امام محمد تقی علیہ السلام کی جشن ولادت منا رہے ہیں. ہمارے امام 10 رجب سن 195 ہجری میں خانہ انوار اہل بیت میں تشریف لائے. میں آپ سب حضرات کو جو اس خراب موسم میں اور اگلے دن ورکنگ ڈے بھی ہے اس پہ آنے پہ اپنی دلی مبارکباد پیش کرتا ہوں اور ہدیہ تبریک پیش کرتا ہوں. اگر اجازت ہو تو پروگرام کا اسٹارٹ کیا ہے. 4 مصرع پیشی خدمت ہے، ملاحظہ فرمائیے. نقطۂ آخر چشمے کی ضرورت پڑ گئی. نقطۂ آخر حد شریعت تو ہے، نقطۂ آخر حد شریعت تو ہے، اور دہر میں عظمت انسان کی علامت تو ہے، دہر میں عظمت انسان کی علامت تو ہے، اور تیرے آنے سے ملی نوع بشر کو عزت، تیرے آنے سے ملی امام محمد تقی علیہ السلام، تیرے آنے سے ملی نوع بشر کو عزت، اور پیکرے خاک کی جاگی ہوئی قسمت تو ہے۔ پر محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔ منقبت کے چند شعر پیش خدمت ہے، ملاحظہ فرمائیے۔ جلائی جاتی ہے قندیل روشنی کے لیے، جلائی جاتی ہے قندیل روشنی کے لیے، اور رضا کے بیٹے کی آمد ہے رہبری کے لیے، رضا کے بیٹے کی آمد ہے رہبری کے لیے، جو لفظ آج ملے ہیں سخنوری کے لیے۔ جناب فروغ صاحب فرماتے ہیں جو لفظ آج ملے ہیں سخنوری کے لیے، زباں پہ اترے ہیں یہ مدحت تقی کے لیے، زباں پہ اترے ہیں یہ مدحت تقی کے لیے، اور سجا کے بزم تخیل چلے مدینے کو، سجا کے بزم تخیل چلے مدینے کو، درے رضا پہ ہوں حاضر بڑی خوشی کے لیے۔ اور شعر مرادہ فرمائیے، زمانہ ان سے بڑا فیض پانے والا ہے، زمانہ ان سے بڑا فیض پانے والا ہے، اور خدا نے بھیج دیا بندہ پروری کے لیے، اور کشاں کشاں چلے آئے محب تقی کے یہاں، اس خراب موسم پہ بھی کشاں کشاں چلے آئے یہاں محب تقی کے یہاں، اور سخن ہے بزم یہ تسلیم و آگہی کے لیے، اور میرے نصیب میں لکھا ہے ان کے گھر کا نمک، میرے نصیب میں لکھا ہے ان کے گھر کا نمک، ہے مجھ سے لاکھوں نمک خوار حاضری کے لیے، انہی کے بار میں انہی کا بارواں روشن کرے گا سارا جہاں، انہی کا بارواں روشن کرے گا سارا جہاں، جہاں میں پھر نہ جگہ ہوگی تیرگی کے لیے، اور امام کا یہ وتیرہ تمام عمر رہا، امام کا یہ وتیرہ تمام عمر رہا، پیام دیتے رہے صلح و آتشی کے لیے۔ اور اس کا مقطع ہے فروغ، فروغ در در سے محبت تقی سے ملتا ہے، فروغ در سے محبت تقی سے ملتا ہے، تھا ان کا نرم رویہ ہر ایک کسی کے لیے۔ حضرات ان الفاظ سے میں ایک دفعہ پھر آپ سب حضرات کو جو کرسیوں پہ تشریف رکھتے ہیں، ضعیف خاص طور پر جناب مرتضیٰ صاحب، اور آپ سب حضرات کو مبارکباد پیش کرتا ہوں، اور یہ تبریک پیش کرتا ہوں، اور اس کے ساتھ ہی میں جناب قبلہ و کعبہ مولانا رضوان رضوی صاحب سے درخواست گزار ہوں کہ تشریف لائیں نذرانہ عقیدت علی۔
ایک دفعہ سورہ فاتحہ کی تلاوت کر کے آج کے پروگرام کے اسپانسرز مسٹر اور مسز نثار رضا اور ان کی فیملی کے لیے، ان کے مرحومین کے روح کے لیے سال کر دیں۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي قصرت عن رؤيته أبصار الناظرين وعجزت عن نعته أوهام الواصفين الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين وأبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق. صلوات الله محمد وآل محمد. Greetings and felicitations on this very auspicious occasion, in these days and in these nights which are fast approaching, as we celebrate the birth of another Noor from the Anwar of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam, our ninth Imam, Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad alayhi salatu wassalam. Inshallah, on Thursday we will be celebrating and having a grand jashan, inshallah, in commemoration of the Maulud Kaaba, Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. And of course, this silsila of Wiladat and Wafat will continue, as this is one of the more important months in the entire Islamic calendar year. And month of Rajab, from the very beginning, we spoke, briefly about it on numerous occasions, the importance of it, the respect of this month, ihtaram that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed for this month, and the merits of those who embrace this month by fasting, by worshiping, and by praying. So last Thursday, which was the first Shab-e Jum'ah and Laylatul Jum'ah of this month, you performed the amal of ar-raghaib, and we hope and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that all of your amal are accepted and you get the best of the reward for the performance of that ar-raghaib amal, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring all your wishes, all your halal wishes, inshallah, true in this life, as well as fulfill them in the hereafter. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Very briefly, I won't be taking too much of your time. Tuesday night program, usually we have dua tawassul and we have tafsir, but of course this is where we celebrate the birth of our ninth Imam. So quickly, some, in regards to our Imam, some of the fadail of Ma'asumeen that are mentioned. This ayat that I recited for you from Surah Fussilat, ayat number 53, Allah says, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ, that we will show them our evidence in the world and within their souls until it becomes to them that Quran is the truth. This ayat is one of the most celebrated ayat of Quran, celebrated in a sense that any ayat of Quran that predicts the future, any ayat of Quran that gives you prophecy about the future is celebrated. In a sense that you and I celebrate that ayat when something that is mentioned in the ayat of Quran, and then now today we see the phenomena in the world of discovery. So the reference is there in Quran. So right away we take pride in the fact that this ayat exists in Quran, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He revealed this book to our Prophet 14 centuries ago, mentioned that in this Quran. So that proves to us the miraculous aspect of this book. Not that it was not already obvious to us, roshan for us, that this book is a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are many such ayat in Quran, and one of them is this ayat of Surah Fussilat, which says, Sanurihim, which means sa in Arabic comes for something which will take place in near future. Nurihim is the verb which comes from that we will show, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making a promise. And of course we know the wa'ada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is on haq. Sanurihim, we will show them our signs, fil afaq, in the universes. Afaq is the plural of ufuq. Ufuq is one universe. Afaq will be all the universes that exist. Or if you want to make it easier for us to understand, all the galaxies that exist. وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ, and we will show them our signs in their nufus, in their souls. حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ, until it becomes apparent to them, tabyin of the fact that this book, annahu, this Quran is haq, or this prophet is on haq, or what Allah has sent is on haq. Any one of these could be taken as reference here. Now, let me elaborate on this ayat, and inshallah I will definitely speak about our ninth Imam. As you know, my habit is that whenever it's the Wiladat or the Shahadat of Imam, I'm not going to miss out on the opportunity of talking about the merits of that Imam. But we need to also, those could be the events that you have heard many times. It could be repetition in those events about Imam, and therefore let's grab something from that fadail of Imam Ma'soom and the fadail of Quran as well. What is it that how can we understand this ayat of Quran? First and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we will show them. This showing by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is becoming ever so obvious to us as humans start to progress. The signs of Allah that were manifested to mankind 100 years ago are far more superior that are manifested to us today. You look at the human progress, stepping on the moon could be set as the biggest feat, for example, or exploring the universe and creating devices by which we can't go there yet, but we can see what's there. And that is something which is definitely a marvel of human nature. Humans that existed 200 years ago, they were definitely intellectuals. But they did not achieve this feat until recently. Humans that existed 400 years ago may have been at the peak of intelligence, but they were still far behind those who existed 50 years ago, as far as the progress is concerned. So as society moves forward, we gain more knowledge. What happens to us? Things become more and more clear to us. The signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala become more and more obvious to us. They were not as obvious 14 centuries ago to people in general. People didn't think of the sun and the moon the way we think, and we have learned about the sun and the moon today. The amount of energy the sun produces on every single day, and how today we are preserving that energy to be able to reuse it. Right? And all the other things that exist. All that you learn in the science, the electron, the proton, the neutron, all of this that is playing a vital role in our society today. The atom. All of these are what? Allah says, Sanurihim ayatina fil afaq. we will show them our signs in afaq. Every single day you're seeing in afaq universes the sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anything, it should be increasing your iman. You say, well, those are the things only scientists, only those who are astronauts and those who are studying they will be more, versed in that, experts in that. You say, okay. Allah said there's another segment through which you can learn about us. We will show our signs in afaq, and we will show our signs in your souls. In your own nafs. You have your nafs. You have access to your nafs. You may not have access to the hereafter. You may not have access to the galaxies yet. You only see the pictures of it. But something that is in your access is what? Your nafs. We will show you our signs in your own nafs. That's why that hadith becomes ever so lively. Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu. Whoever recognized his soul indeed recognized his Rabb as well. You see the connection between the two. You get a hold of this nafs of yours. And then nafs could over here be referring to our whole body as well. Although nafs is more important than this physical body of ours, but this physical body has so many marvelous things in it that could be the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Things that are mentioned in this book that tally with what we have in our bodies, that is something which should increase in your iman. That's why when you start studying the human structure, if anything, it should bring you closer and closer to the divinity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With that, that's one way of looking at it. Another translation or the tafsir of this ayat is that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, when he introduced this religion in Makkatul Mukarramah, there were a handful of people. Right? There were a handful of people. But by the time Fateh Makkah takes place and this ayat is revealed, Islam has spread north and south, east and west. That could be the prophecy that sanurihim ayatina fil afaq wa fi anfusihim. Anfusihim was Makkatul Mukarramah. Afaq is all the four corners of Arabia, where now Islam has spread. People know Rasulullah. People are aware of this religion, and they are yadkhuluna fi dinillahi afwaja. Nobody thought. In fact, people mocked Prophet that this will not last for too long. You don't have a legacy after you, and this will end with your demise. But when they saw with their own eyes how Islam spread, they were able to understand. Quran is saying that we will show you our signs in the universe, within your own world, and within your own city, until you realize hatta yatabayyana annahu al-haq. The Quran is haq. And today, last point on this before I move on, today's manifestation of this is that maybe at that time people thought that Islam will remain within the four corners of Arabia. But look at today how it has spread to far east and to far west. Could anyone in their wildest dreams imagine the fact that there will come a time when there will be many masajid in every single state of United States? There will be masajid in every corner of the world. There will not be, this is a hadith, there will not remain a house in which the sound of adhan is not sounded. Today you can relate to this hadith which says that there isn't a house in the world where you don't hear the sound of adhan. Maybe yesterday people had a hard time understanding that adhan is being given from the masjid and the pulpit, and the sound can only reach the areas which are. But Allah knew that there will be devices created where the adhan will be brought inside your house. Whether you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not, the sound will be there. So this ayat is also a prophecy. Sanurihim ayatina. This is for you, brothers and sisters. Look at the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that you're sitting here on the 11th day of the month of Rajab al-Murajjab, celebrating the Wiladat of your 9th Imam in this part of the world, and many are listening to us online as well. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this is just the muqaddamah of this ayat. Surah Fussilat, ayat number 53. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the sigha of muzare, sanurihim. Mudare is the present tense. When you use the word sa, it makes it future, meaning what? Something that will happen in future. Meaning ayat of Quran was revealed 14 centuries ago, but it is in istimrar. It is in continuation. That means you will continue to see the amazing signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every single day. And then how long will it be before you stop denying the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and come into the fold of being completely submissive to the commands of one and only. And those who gave their lives in order to make people understand Rabbi Haqiqi, one of those anwar is Noor of our 9th Imam, Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad alayhi salatu wassalam. As mentioned by Dr. Saab, that he was born on the 10th day of Rajab in the year 195, and his shahadat is end of the Qad in some riwayat in the year 220. You do the math, 25 years is the sin of our 9th Imam. He assumed the responsibilities of imamat at a tender age of 8. In fact, Imam Rada alayhi salatu wasalam, who's the father of this Imam, has a statement about it. And I used to think about this statement all the time, and I've spoken about it from the minbar many times, but there was really any possibility, there wasn't really any good explanation of this, saying of Imam. Because this saying of Imam was repeated by many people on numerous occasions. Whenever Imam would introduce his son to the people, you got to realize the time of 8th Imam, he's in Medina from the birth of his son, 195, till the year 200. So 5 years Imam spends with his family, and then Imam goes where? To Mashhad. In these 5 years, wherever Imam took his son, Imam Muhammad Taqi, Imam would introduce to the people. Introduce his son as what? This is Hadal Maulud, Lam Yulad Mauludun. This Maulud, there isn't more blessed Maulud in the family of Ahlul Bayt than my son, Muhammad Taqi. Here you would question, my question wasn't Imam Hussein more blessed? Who could be more blessed than Imam Hussein? If anyone has the right to say, it's Amirul Mu'mineen regarding his son Imam Hussein, that there isn't any Maulud more blessed than my son Hussein. Forget about all the other Imams. Yes, of course, all the Imams are Babarakat. But if anyone has that title built in with him from the very beginning, is who? Imam Hussein. Why? Before birth, Imam Hussein is someone who is giving basharat from the womb of the mother. After birth, Imam Hussein is someone who's freeing the angels when they come knocking on his door. Imam's life throughout is giving revival and rebirth to the religion. And Imam's shahadat is also something which becomes the means of shafa'at. Imam's place of burial is something which millions of people like you and I go ask for the shafa'at by holding on to the zari of Sayyid al-Shuhada. He fits perfectly on the ayat that Hazrat Isa recited, that Yawma Wilidtu wa Yawma Amutu wa yawma ub'athu hayya. That I am blessed the day I was born, the day I died, and the day I was resurrected. Right? Imam Hussein's barakat is far-reaching. If anyone has the right to say this, would be who? It would be someone who is Amirul Mu'mineen regarding Imam Hussain. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But who's saying this? Imam Rada is saying this. Hadal Mawlud. This is documented. On numerous occasions, he introduced his son as what? Hadal Mawlud. This newborn or this born child, this Mawlud, is who? Is the most blessed amongst all of the children of Ahlul Bayt. Imam, why would you say such a thing? That statement speaks volumes. Does it undermine other Imams? No, maybe not. But it is still giving our ninth Imam that place in maqam which no one else has. Because you always compare. When you ask reason, I looked for it, I asked. And eventually I landed where I understood what the reason is. You'd realize the time of Imam Rada is that he's 47 years old and he's not Sahib-e Aulad yet. People are taunting him that there is no legacy. He doesn't have, 10 or 15 children. He's the only child of Imam Rada. That's why all the Razavi Sadat are what? Are also Taqawi Sadat. Those who call themselves Taqawi and Jawadi are Razavi. In fact, all those who call themselves Razavi are actually Taqawi and Jawadi. Because Imam Raza only had one son. With that said, Imam did not have a child till he was 47 years old. That's a very old age. For Imam, for that matter. Imam Raza. And in the year 195, 9th Imam is born. Imam Raza's Wiladat is 148. What were people saying? He doesn't have a son. He doesn't have a child. Meaning what? Imam Raza ﷺ will leave this world without an heir. And that would be what? End of his imamat. In fact, there were many who denied the imamat of Imam Raza as well. Waqifi, right? After the shahadat of 7th Imam, there came about a group called Waqifi. They did waqf on the imamat of 7th Imam, saying he died or he went into occultation, no more imamat. In fact, there's a mukataba between Imam Rada and the Waqifin, who wrote to Imam that how can you claim to be the Imam of the Ummah? You are the son of Musa al-Kadhim, but how can you be the Imam? You don't even have a child of your own. So Imam's positioning at that time, where he doesn't have a son until he's 47 years old, is something which is bringing about these questions. Now, of course, Imam knows that Allah will not let this world be without a hujjat. So he knows, Qudrat mein der hai, andher nahi hai. Der aaye, durust aaye. There will be a son from me who will be the next Imam. But how people are getting nervous. Even Imam's own followers are getting nervous. That there isn't any heir to Imam and he doesn't have a child yet. And that's why when our 9th Imam was born, Imam mentioned like this, this is the Mawlud. There isn't more blessed child in all of Ahlul Bayt because of all of these reasons. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So there was a man by the name Qasim ibn Abdul Rahman. He was a Zaydi. Of course, Zaydi firqa is also one of the offshoots of the Shia firqa. Zaydis are who? Zaydis are the ones who believe in the imamat of Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein. They skip Imam Zainul Abidin, they skip Imam Muhammad Baqir, and they go to the imamat of Zayd ibn Ali, Zayd al-Shaheed. Then they go into the imamat of Yahya ibn Zayd, right? They consider him to be the imam. That's where the Zaydi firqa came into existence. Today, when you have Zaydis in Yemen, they are from the same. Therefore, you can draw the connection how, at least for the first 3 Imams, they are with us. So, with that said, Zaydis, this man who was Zaydi, Qasim ibn Abdul Rahman, came to Medina. He saw a young boy, our 8th Imam, our 9th Imam. He saw this young boy, people are paying respect to him, calling him Imam, going around him, asking him questions. He in his mind made fun of this, saying, look at these, Ithna Ashari. Look at these, Shi'as, that they follow a child who's barely 8 or 9 years old. What is wrong with them? This is, of course, after the wafat or the shahadat of our 8th Imam. So Imam Jawad is probably 8 or 9 years old. So what is wrong with these people? They're following this 8-year-old, 9-year-old and considering him to be the Imam of the Ummah. And right away, he said, I thought of this. I didn't utter from my tongue. I just thought of this in my mind, that this young boy passed by me and he recited this ayat of Surah Qamar for me. فَقَالُوا أَبَشَرًا مِنَّا وَاحِدًا نَتَّبِعُهُ. This is what the people of Thamud said regarding Hazrat Salih, that should we follow a bashar like us, who's alone from our, should we be the follower of that person? He said, I didn't mention it with my tongue. I just thought of it. And then this young boy walked past me reciting this ayat, أَأُلْقِيَ الذَّكْرُ مِنْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ بَيْنَنَا بَلْ هُوَ كَذَّابٌ. He said, was the message given to him out of all of us? In fact, he is a wicked liar. Out of nowhere, I thought of this in my mind, that what's wrong with these Shia? They're following a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, and this 9-10-year-old comes towards me and he recites these ayat of Surah Qamar 24 and 25, which was recited when Qawm Thamud were challenging their Nabi. He said, you are challenging my imamat, and I got the response from Imam, and I knew at that moment Allah knows best where to place His risalat. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Of course, Imam lived a very short life, but within this short, it was a blessed life. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, there was an incident where one of his uncles, son of our 6th Imam, who was very old at that time, in the time of our 9th Imam. The son of our 6th Imam is very old. I think Ali ibn Ja'far is, very advanced in age at that time. And people thought of him to be, some people thought of him to be, of course, alim as well. Of course, many of these people from the household of Imams, they were known to be scholars themselves. In a gathering where Imam Muhammad Taqi is still a young child, they gathered near Ali ibn Ja'far. They were sitting and they were asking him questions. These scholars have gathered from many places in Arabia. They had come to see, and they were asking him questions. As they asked him questions, right away they understood the shallowness in the responses and even contradictions in the responses of Ali ibn Ja'far. Although he was son of Imam, although he was the uncle of Imam. And this is where this young boy comes out. He says, oh uncle, everything that you say, and he recited the ayat of Surah Qaf, that whatever you utter from your tongue, you will be held responsible in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I beware about the ahkam shar'i that I speak of, and I mislead people regarding that. No concept of that, ijtihad over here, that if you make a mistake, Allah still gives you a gift or Allah still rewards you. No, make sure what you say, مَا يَلْفَظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا عَلَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ أَتِيدٌ. Whatever qawl comes from your tongue, beware of that. You'll be held accountable tomorrow. And then this young boy sits down. People kept asking questions. Imam kept answering the questions, and they left that place saying, yes, Allah knows where to place His risalat. Salawat diji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I want to leave you, although there are other events of the life of Imam where Imam speaks about the merits of Ahlul Bayt, his munazarat that took place with Yahya ibn Aktham. I've mentioned that before. I'm sure you've heard it before as well, regarding the Hajj and the Ahkam of Ihram, where he wanted to prove Imam wrong, and he asked him, Imam, the most difficult of the questions related to fiqh, and that too was the book of Hajj, and that too was the kafara of ihram. How Imam ﷺ, upon hearing the question, said to Yahya ibn Aktham, who had come to test Imam, who had come to degrade Imam, who had come to show that how can you trust someone who's so young? Imam ﷺ again proved that imamat is not dependent on the age. If that was the case, Hazrat Isa ibn Maryam would not be speaking about the validity of his risalat from the arms of his mother. Hazrat Yahya would not be speaking about his risalat and nubuwwat while he was a child. Imam ﷺ said, "Oh Yahya, your question is incomplete. What you're asking me about the kafara, this question has 22 different ways of looking at it." And the entire community that was sitting there, they were puzzled as to how Imam ﷺ mentioned that. And it wasn't just a claim. Imam started asking this question. He said, what question that you have asked, it has 22 different situations. Was this ihram that you're asking for kafara, was it inside the haram or was it outside the haram? Was this person aware of the law or was he ignorant of the law? Was it by purpose, on purpose, or was it by mistake? Was this man a free person or was he a slave? Was he baligh or was he a nabaligh? Was it first time or did he commit it before? Was he hunting a bird or was he hunting an animal? Was he hunting a small animal? Was he hunting a bigger animal? Was he regretful or was he persistent in it? Did he hunt at night or did he hunt at daytime? Did he hunt for umrah while he was wearing the ihram of umrah, or did he hunt while he was wearing the ihram of hajj? Imam mentions these 22 different conditions. The people that are sitting over there, all amazed as to the knowledge this young man possesses. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'll leave you with this. Inshallah, this will be something that we can take away as the hasil of the barakat of our ninth Imam. There's Hirz-e Imam Jawad, right? Hirz is for safety and protection. Of course, you do everything in your possibility to protect yourselves, protect your families, by all the physical means that are possible. But then we trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe that if it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills for us to be protected, then of course we will be protected and nothing can harm us. But if there is something that is going to strike and that is going to harm us, then nothing can avert the strike of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala either. And therefore Masumeen taught us a few things. There was this thing that Imam taught his followers. It says, Yajdiya lil faraje, for your betterment, wa raf'il ghumum wal balaya, to getting rid of all the gham and the tragedies. Al muwazibat ala hadha dhikr, make sure that you keep this dhikr with you and you recite this dhikr, not just keeping it with you, and inshallah all of your balaya will go away. This is the barakat of our ninth Imam. What is that dhikr? This is the dhikr that our ninth Imam taught us. He taught us this. Ya man yakfi min kulli shay'in wa la yakfi minhu shay'un ikfini ma ahammani. Ya man yakfi min kulli shay'in wa la yakfi minhu shay'un ikfini ma ahammani. Imam taught us that. He said, you read this and inshallah all your hammu gham, even if they're not completely turned away, but you will feel, sometimes you feel that from inside as if everything has become okay. Although you might be struggling, but from within deep inside you right away start feeling better. This dua will help you, make you feel better, and also will turn away all of your balaya as well. I'll read it one more time, repeat it. It says, Ya man yakfi min kulli shay'in wa la yakfi minhu shay'un ikfini ma ahammani. Oh, the one who's sufficient for everything and nothing is sufficient for him, O Allah, be sufficient and be provider for all the hammu gham that exists within me. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the barakat of the wiladat of our ninth Imam, and with the barakat and the wiladat of our first Imam that is coming up in a couple of days, and the barakat of this month of Rajab al-Murajjab, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfill all of our hajat, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala avert all the troubles that we are facing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring an end to all the struggles of our communities, our children, and as well as Muslimin around the globe, especially the people of Gaza. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam, make us amongst the helpers and the soldiers of Imam. Wa akhiru da'wana, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Mutawajjih ziyarat. Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah, Assalamu alaikum ya Nabi Allah, Assalamu alaikum ya Habib Allah, Assalamu alaikum ya Khirat Allah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Assalamu alaikum ya Amirul Mu'mineen wa Sayyid al-Wasiyyin, Assalamu alaikum Fatimatu Zahra Sayyidat Nisa'il Alameen, Assalamu alaikum ya Sibti ar-Rahma wa Imami al-Huda, Al-Hasan wal Hussein Sayyid al-Shababi Ahl al-Jannah, Assalamu alaikum ya Ali ibn al-Hussein wa Muhammad ibn Ali wa Jafar ibn Muhammad wa Musa ibn Jafar wa Ali ibn Musa wa Muhammad ibn Ali. السلام عليك يا أبا جعفر محمد بن علي البر التقي بر التقي الإمام الوفي. السلام عليك أيها الرضي الزكي. السلام عليك يا ولي الله. السلام عليك يا نجي الله. السلام عليك يا سفير الله. السلام عليك يا سر الله. السلام عليك يا ضياء الله. السلام عليك يا سناء الله. السلام عليك يا كلمة الله. السلام عليك يا رحمة الله. السلام عليك أيها النور الساطع. السلام عليك أيها البدر الطالع. السلام عليك أيها الطيب من الطيبين. السلام عليك أيها الطاهر من المطهرين. السلام عليك أيها الآية العظمى. السلام عليك أيها الحجة الكبرى. السلام عليك أيها المطهر من الزلات. السلام عليك أيها المنزه عن المعضلات. السلام عليك أيها العلي من النقص الأوصاف. السلام عليك أيها الرضي عند الأشراف. السلام عليك يا عمود الدين. أشهد أنك ولي الله وحجته في أرضه، وأنك جنب الله وخيرة الله ومستودع علم الله وعلم الأنبياء وركن الإيمان وترجمان القرآن. وأشهد أن من اتبعك الحق والهدى، وأن من أنكرك ونسب لك العداوة على الضلالة والرضا أبرأ إلى الله وإليك منهم في الدنيا والآخرة. والسلام عليك ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. السلام عليك صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك إمام الإنس والجان. السلام عليك الشريك القرآن. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك، وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك ورحمة الله